The thing about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is that we do know that Disney, Lucasfilm, and J.J. Abrams have a plan in place in order to make this by far the most emotional Star Wars film there is, as well as the darkest Star Wars movie out of the entire Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very curious about is, of course, exactly how JJ is going to utilize all of the different aspects of the Jedi, Sith, and Force lore, the lightsaber duels, the land battles, and the space battles into the mix for this movie that's going to wrap up the entire saga that started back in 1977. Now, the thing about this is that we do know that Episode 9 is going to be a very emotional film with a lot of sacrifices and losses in this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Rey, Finn, and Poe, as well as Jannah and Lando Calrissian, are fighting on the world of Exegol, and are said to be fighting Palpatine's new Sith Empire on the ground, as they make their way to the Imperial Star Destroyers. It's described that the Falcon is in the ground where Rey and her crew are said to be fighting an army of Sith troopers, who use powerful blaster rifles during the scene, where they all need to take cover. This is where it's said that Chewbacca comes in and begins to come in by surprise and helps Rey and her crew fight the Empire, where he uses his bowcaster. However, one of the scenes is said to involve one of the Sith jet troopers hovering in the air and launching some kind of explosive toward Chewbacca in the process, causing Chewie to fly in the air and land on the ground. It's described that during the scene, Rey, Poe, and Finn, and Jannah pick up Chewbacca where he is said to not be moving, where Lando Calrissian is described to be providing them cover by using a blaster rifle from one of the dead Sith troopers. It's explained that eventually Chewbacca is brought on board of the Falcon, where Rey replaces her hand on Chewie's head and chest, only for him to not regain consciousness. This is where Rey begins to shed a couple of tears, where Rey leaves and begins to tell Finn and Jannah to go to the Horse creatures to infiltrate one of the destroyers. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, the thing about this particular moment is that this is by far the biggest hint that Chewbacca is either going to die in the movie or is going to have a near-death type of situation here in The Rise of Skywalker that's going to be very emotional, not just for the fans, but also for the characters that are surrounding Chewbacca, right? Especially Lando Calrissian, of all people, who actually has known Chewie for 30 plus years. So, with that being said, we can already see that JJ is trying to make this movie very action-packed. Now, this is all said to take place within the third act of the film on the world of Exegol. In case you guys are tuning in just right now, the world of Exegol is actually Palpatine's new world in The Rise of Skywalker, where his new Sith Empire fleet is actually stored. So essentially, that's where he keeps all of his Star Destroyers and his personal hideout underneath the surface, right? Underneath the ground of the planet. So this particular moment is said to be a sequence in which one of the Sith jet troopers uses an explosive-like device, where he's actually in the air and aims it at Chewbacca, causing Chewbacca to fly backward in mid-air and crashing down on the ground. That's where Rey and her crew pick up Chewbacca and bring him on board of the Falcon, where Rey is trying to use her force healing technique. In case you guys did not know, Rey does in fact use a new technique that allows her to essentially revive, or at least give a creature that's nearly dead or is about to die more energy, if you will. And that new ability is not working on Chewbacca, at least in this current moment. So, that's a very interesting part now, right? Because it really makes one wonder what's going to happen to Chewie in The Rise of Skywalker, or is he going to surprisingly come back to life? We do know that in the first act of Episode 9 that there is, in fact, going to be a fake-out death for Chewbacca, and what I mean by that is there's going to be a moment in which the First Order captures Chewbacca, brings him on board of a shuttle as a prisoner. Rey tries to get the ship back, and that's where she accidentally unleashes Force Lightning, where she's fighting over the ship with Kylo Ren, causing the ship to crash down to the desert world of Pisana. Now, that's when fans are going to think that Chewbacca died in the very beginning of the movie, but it's actually a fake-out death where you find out that Chewbacca actually lived. So would they really go through another fake-out death at the very end of episode 9, and that's a big question open on the table for discussion. I would have to say, most likely not, but there's still a good chance that they're going to have 2 fake-out deaths in The Rise of Skywalker in order to really create more emotion for the character of Chewie. I mean, after all, if you guys look at the expanded universe, also known as Star Wars Legends, essentially canon, non-canon material, I must add, is that Chewbacca did in fact die in one of the books of the expanded universe, and that was a big deal because not a lot of fans really liked how he died in the EU. So if he's going to die in a specific way in The Rise of Skywalker, it has to be done correctly by J.J. Abrams to the point where it just feels right, and it feels like it just couldn't have been any other way, and that's the only way to really approach it. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.